The following podcast is recommended for mature audiences only. The following podcast is recommended for adults only. Maturity is not a requirement.
Hello and welcome to episode 16 of Dear Download, a podcast where we get to share our most intimate and treasured memories of Download Festival. We'll talk about each year, the bands we saw, the bands we missed, and everything else noteworthy that happened across the weekend. Also, we'll touch upon any news, other festivals, and the music industry past, present and future. This week is a music industry episode, and we'll be talking about record labels and contracts that you might come across, that sort of thing, what sort of thing is might be in those contracts, and maybe go over a little bit about what you can do to get yourself in a position to get a contract. We'll see how it goes. I am Adam, and I'm here with Simon.
Hello, and good day to you, Sire.
We obviously had a brief chat before coming on, and you said you haven't done any specific research for this, but that's fine, because we've said many times before, you know a lot more on this sort of subject than I do, so I needed to do the research, whereas you probably don't. And I think it'll be interesting if to see if I came across anything that you weren't already aware of.
Yeah, definitely. I'm interested to see what comes out of this conversation. Like we said, we always want to do subjects that we're interested in or things that we don't actually know that much about, and just generally talk about them and try and get a decent conversation out of it. So this one, should be good. Yeah,
excellent. So how are you doing, man? How have you been the last couple of weeks since we last spoke?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. Nothing major to report. Although, obviously those listening won't know that, but I was late on to doing this podcast because I was actually making the news jingle that I said that I would make 2 episodes ago. So I was just doing the vocal part of it. So I think you're all going to like it. And it will finally be on this episode when we eventually get to the news section. It's not long off being finished. I'll finish it tonight. So
cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that. I was all ready to ask when we got to that bit, ready to sort of say, let's see if the tumbleweed that I put in the last episode is still going, or if you
when are we going to receive this said segment that you keep saying? No, it is. Yeah, it's coming.
Awesome. Anything else?
Nothing from my life. What about you, bud? How's the injury?
Cool. I'm back to work now. I say I'm back. I went back last week on Wednesday, and I'm on holiday this week, so home again. Went back for 3 days and get another week off.
You haven't done much, have you, in the last few weeks?
2 months. So yeah, I like I said, I got my my new duty that I started last week, which is just driving around delivering parcels, like the bigger parcels. So it's a lot less stress on my feet anyway.
That's good.
And it's a bit stressful trying to learn everything at the moment, but I mean, it's the same as all jobs. I know most of my town anyway. It's just remembering where everything is, pretty much all the roads. And yeah, once I get used to it, it'll be easy life, really.
Yeah, good man. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you switched, because I know obviously we spoke about it before when you said that you might change it up a bit. So yeah. It's good that you actually got it, and that you'll get a chance to do something slightly different to what you normally do, really. You know, obviously there's an element of it there, but it'll be awesome to add that sort of driving part to it and see how much you enjoy it compared to bopping around the whole time.
Yeah, and regular listeners might already know, remember, I said I was worried about putting a little bit of weight on with not walking as much, but I'm still so active with it. It's constantly going, just not walking 12 miles a day. So I shouldn't put too much weight on, if any, which would be nice.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, other than that, there's nothing really else going on for me.
No,
not trying to do too much this week. But both the kids were in nursery Monday, Tuesday. So we thought we'll spend the whole time trying to clean the house as much as we can because we just don't have time to do it really that often. It gets
fair enough.
Obviously, you don't have kids. It gets to, I actually enjoy doing housework, doing like the cleaning and everything.
Really?
I do because I don't get a chance to do it that often because of the kids.
True.
Like when you get to do it, you're like, yes, I need to do this now. I enjoy doing it. You'll get there, I'm sure you. I know you might end up having more time to do that kind of thing. If or when
maybe.
you have kids, but we struggle to. We do the essentials around the house, but it's hard. It's hard. Well, kids are hard work, man.
Yeah, God,
long days.
I don't envy you for that, man. There are hard. That's going to be a weird time when that eventually happens to me. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to hack it. I might come to you for loads of advice. Help! Can't hack it.
It's easy, man. You're. Well, I've just been saying how hard it is, and it's easy. It's you'll be fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we were looking at loads of like everything that happens at the beginning. You're like, oh, we need to know what that is. We look up online, what's going on, what's happening. But we've just been winging it for the last couple of years now. It's like, yeah, we got this. We know what we're doing.
We got it. We know where we are.
Yeah, cool. Nothing else new in my life apart from enjoying cleaning and dust. Yeah. There's so much dust. You probably saw I put an updated picture of my board games up.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it looked awesome.
Fucking dust. I haven't dusted that for probably 2 to 3 years, and it was
really
horrible.
Holy shit!
Like I said, we just do the essentials. Like, just can't get around to doing it. So yeah, we ripped it all out, rearranged it, but yeah, just thick layers of dust on all of it. So it was nice to actually get things clean again.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Jesus, a lot of stuff gets dusty. Like, I don't know what it's like in yours, but in this house, like if we don't clean something for like a week, I'm like, how is there so much dust everywhere? So if you haven't cleaned anything for that long, you must be like, holy shit, this is a lot of dust. Like crazy amount of dust.
Bad. But like I said, I've said a few times now, and I keep going back to talking about my kids and how hard they are. But I think I'm done. Shall we move on to some news and check out your new jingle?
Yeah, get it going, man.
Awesome.
So here you go, the final premiere. No funny noises, no stupid things. The final premiere, the only premiere of this little jingle thing that should lead us into the news. Hit it. This is the news. We've got news coming for you now. Just shut up. The news is going to come now. This is the news.
Go. Do you want to start off? Have you got any news you want to talk about?
Well, I would say the main news is Meatloaf sadly passed away.
Yes.
Which is a definite bit of news because I saw obviously a lot of... I put it on the page as well to say like he was a genuine sort of window into like the sort of rock and metal because certainly for me and loads of other people probably when I was little, you know, Mum would have Meatloaf, Queen, Genesis, all of these people on, and that was like, you know, the beginning sort of catalyst for getting into heavier stuff. And I'm a huge Meatloaf fan, so I was devastated by it. And it looks like obviously a lot of other people were as well. A lot of stuff on the download pages and all sorts of pages about how sad people are. Because it's weird, isn't it? Like, I always think this, right? When someone dies, it's weird because we've never met these people in our life, right? We don't have any, we've never had any real connection with them. But the weird thing is when you really connect, people that connect with music, you feel like you've connected with that person. So before I thought it was really weird when people used to like genuinely get sad and sort of mourn people and be really sad when they passed away. But when people that I really like or liked pass away, and then I genuinely get not upset, but you know, like I'm like, oh my God, that sucks. Yeah. And I understand why, especially musicians, because you know, you connect with them. Once you connect with their music, kind of feel like you have met them and you have connected with them, even though you never have. So I was genuinely really down that day. I was like, oh my God, that sucks. I mean, obviously, you know, all these people that we like from that time, they're all really old now. So, it's going to happen. That's just what it is. But it's just sad, isn't it, when they pass away finally? What about Meatloaf for you? Are you ever a Meatloaf guy or?
No, I wasn't the biggest fan. I pretty much all of his songs that I heard, I liked. It was really good music, but it just, it wasn't the kind of thing that I put on often. My parents listened to Motown when I was growing up, so
nice. That's awesome. Yeah, Motown's great as well.
Yeah,
that's cool. Well, I'll do. Go on. Sorry.
My dad did have a few other things. I think we listened to the War of the Worlds records.
Oh yes,
quite 100%. A bit. Yeah, he did have. I remember he picked me up from Weston one night, and I was quite drunk with a friend, and we were going through his CDs in his glove box, and he didn't have anything good apart from Meatloaf, so we just put that on and put it on really loud. Must have been. Well, I probably didn't annoy him because it was his CD, but nice. I remember listening to it then, thinking all of these songs are really good, really good. Like but awesome. Generally, not something I would have put on.
Yeah, well, that's cool. There was a lot of people I saw posting on posts to say, like, I wasn't a Meatloaf fan, but I can appreciate his music and, like, kind of what he's done. And,
definitely.
Bat Hell, the first one's still, like, one of the biggest selling albums of all time. It just proves, like, how insanely popular that album was. So quickly, real quick, I'm going to do my top 5 Meatloaf songs really quickly, okay? So, number 5, Original Sin. Number 4, Life is a Lemon and I Want My Money Back. Number 3, Objects in the Rearview Mirror May Appear Closer Than They Are. Number 2, Paradise by the Dashboard Light. And number 1, You Took the Words Right Out of My Mouth. There you go. That's my top 5 Meatloaf songs. So, yeah, R.I.P. I know. Bat Out of Hell 1 and 2 are like 2 of my favourite albums ever. They're in easily in my top 10. So, yeah, it was. It sucks. But hey, it's one of those things we're going to have to get used to over the next few years because it's going to happen again and again and again to, unfortunately, loads of people from bands that we love. So it just sucks about how old we're getting. Think about how old the people that we look up to are getting. Now they're super old. We think we're old. Being 25. And they're like in their 60s and 70s and stuff. So it sucks. But anyway, let's move on. I've got some other bits. I've got some release news. Have you got any other news?
Well, I think we probably have to talk about When We Were Young.
Yes, we do.
And that's not going on what you just said about us being old. It's a hard one. I haven't looked into it super much. Fantastic vocabulary there. But there seems to be conspiracy about it, and I'm not really sure where it came from. So I think most people will know what this is by now, but let's go over it just in case. So it's Live Nation who are doing it, isn't it? They just all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a poster popped up the other day it said "When We Were Young" on the top, which is what is it? A festival?
It's a one-day event in Las Vegas or something.
Yeah. And it basically had every. I want to say emo, but I don't know if that's just the memes that are making me say emo.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of just more like an era because you've got there's horror punk in there, there's punk, there's emo, there's screamo, there's a slightly bit of like emo metal-y stuff. It's just like anything to do with anything sort of emo related in any genre is on this bill pretty much.
Yeah. But I didn't get around to writing down what all the conspiracies are, but like obviously it looks like an amazing poster, amazing day. I think everyone went a bit crazy about it for the first couple of days.
Yeah, it went
and then all of a sudden,
everywhere. It was all over every one of my feeds. I was like, "Oh my lord, people have gone off the chain to this." I was like, memes, fucking everything. I was like, it's been out like an hour. How have people done this already?
Yeah, and then after 2, 3, 4 days, something like that, you started getting the conspiracies about it. One of the first ones that I saw was saying that they're basically putting this on to pay the legal fees for the Astro World Festival.
Ah, okay.
Have you not seen that one?
No.
Another one saying, I mean, just look at the amount of bands. You cannot get them on one day, even if it's three stages. You can't get them on one day. And then someone it wasn't from the actual festival, but someone did a mock-up lineup, and basically there was no gaps in between the bands at all.
Oh, I get you. So, yeah, no sound check, no line check, no swapping over stuff.
No, but I did see a couple of days after that, apparently they've got revolving stages, so they can get all the other band, the next band, set up behind the stage, and they come straight on.
Okay.
But, I mean, there were so many good bands on there as well. You would just be clashes all over the place.
That's the first thing that I started talking to people about.
Yeah.
My friend Ollie put it up on his page, and there was just people underneath just being like, dude, the clashes, like, you'd see a lot of good bands, but you wouldn't be able to see everyone. Like, it'd be one of those where, that's why this is going to sound weird, right? But I don't like it when too many bands that I really like play download.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to miss someone.
Yeah.
So there's always like a limit at a festival that you want, which is like between like 8 and 10 bands that you really love. Because if there's any more than that, you're probably going to have to miss some of them. And that's what really sucks. So this is like, straight away I was like, holy shit. There's like, I could see like 30 bands on this thing, but you're never going to see them over a space. It's a 1-day event. One day. If it was over a weekend, even that would be bad. But a 1-day event, ludicrous.
Yeah, and some of the lower bands on this mock-up lineup only had 20 minutes, and I'm thinking like, how? I mean, they're fairly big bands as well, not like huge bands, but most of the bands on there were known names. Yeah,
bands that would get easily like at least an hour to hour and a half for a normal set.
Yeah, so
and they're supposed to do a 20-minute set.
Yeah, I can't see how you could ever offer someone less than half an hour at a festival.
You can't even offer an unsigned band 20 minutes. I think out of all the gigs I've played, I think 30 must be the limit. I don't ever remember playing a gig that's less than 30 minutes. That's like a standard slot. You got a 30-minute slot. Cool. Yeah. That's all right when you're an unsigned band and no one knows your shit. Do you know what I mean? But if you're a band where you got loads of good stuff, how are you supposed to cram 20 minutes? If you're a metal band, that's like 2 songs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Some bands, it's crazy.
There are also some rumours that some of these bands that were on the poster didn't even know that they were meant to be playing it.
That does not surprise me at all. Yeah.
Another one was... Oh, no, I can't think of any more other sort of rumours or conspiracies at the moment. But they did add a second day, but it'll be the same lineup. So instead of spreading the bands out, they just wanted more people to go to see the same day, basically.
Well, I mean, if it is legit, which most of it is, I mean, will every band end up playing? Probably not. Will you get most of them on there? Probably. So either way, it's going to be they're going to get ridiculous. And but I've seen like the cheapest ticket was like $2,500 or something ridiculous.
Was it? Jesus. Yeah. I saw someone said it was something like it was $230 originally, and then I saw someone, he actually went through the payment stages, and he got to the end, and it was like you said, it was 2,000 something.
Around $2,000.
How did they get up to that much from 230 or something like that?
We say downloads bad.
Yeah.
Never complain, people. We get
that was per day.
5 days if you go on the Wednesday for 200 and something pounds.
Yeah. But after they added the second day, that sold out straight away. So they added a third day.
Surprised.
But the third day was the next weekend. So they must be doing like a Saturday and Sunday. So the third day is the Saturday after. And
oh my Lord.
Like, you expect all of these bands to hang around in Las Vegas for a week to play the third day.
I mean, that would be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
If you were in Las Vegas. I mean, imagine that. You'd have to book. You'd have to book a hotel for an entire week in Las Vegas, see twice, then just stay in Las Vegas for 4 or 5 days, and then watch. That's ludicrous, yeah. But the weird thing is, I'm surprised. I mean, before I've gone to get gig tickets, and I've been like, how? Even if I like the band, I'm like, how much? Maybe that makes me a cheapo, I don't know. But some people will pay shitloads of money to see bands.
Yeah.
It's insane. I moan about the price of download ticket going up every year, and that's how many bands. When I like some big bands when they do, you know, arenas and stuff like that, when I'm like, how much for a ticket? No way. I ain't paying that. I don't care who you are. Like, it's just too much for a ticket.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but there's always people willing. That's the problem. The people that are willing to pay expensive prices, pay them. So the ticket prices will never go down.
No.
They'll just keep going up because people keep paying the most for them. But hey, if you want to see a band so bad, people just get crazy, don't they? And they'll just pay anything. So
yeah. I can't see it being a real thing. Well, no, it has to be it should be. I don't know. But basically what I'm saying is I don't know whether it's real or not. If you're interested in going, then you should definitely look it up. Don't take what we've said for anything at all. You know, don't believe us. This is just what we've read. Go and have a look. I'm trying to avoid saying the words. Go and do your own research because I've had enough of people saying that over the pandemic. I did my own research. Fucking pricks.
But yeah, go. This is about a festival.
And do your research.
Yeah. Go and do your own festival research. I'm not going to do it for you.
Yeah, but that was definitely something. It's definitely interesting, and I'm looking forward to how it pans out. So yeah, it was definitely newsworthy.
Oh, definitely.
But I don't want to give advice either way.
I'm with you, bud.
Cool. Were you going to go into something else before I said about that?
All right, sweet. So, I'll just run through some quick release stuff that has been on my radar. A band that I really like called Modern Era. They're playing Download next year. Their album Victim of a Modern Age came out literally last week on Friday.
Cool.
It's really good. Awesome. If you haven't heard this band and you like 30 Seconds to Mars mixed with like 9 Inch Nails and a little bit of screamo, really electronic, kind of hard to define, but all that stuff sort of in a can. Very, very good. If I was to give it a score, I would give it an 8 out of 10. It's really, really good. Worth a listen.
Cool.
New Loathe song, Dimorpheus Display. They love their complicated words. Again, really weird, really chilled out Deftones style, clean vocals, you know, some great screams on it, and it's just another good Loathe song. It's just another progression of them. Yeah. So that's another really good one. And finally, Ghost released a new song called Call Me Little Sunshine, and that's really good as well. I thought it sounded a little bit like something from Reload, Metallica.
Okay.
It's got the same sort of, I can't describe it, it's got the same guitar tone and the same sort of vibe. And when I heard it, I was like, if you were to get rid of his vocals and put James Hetfield's on it, it could be on Reload.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of mid-90s Metallica period. And I thought that was really good as well. And that's just the stuff that's come onto my radar in the last week that I checked out to see what the crack was.
Yeah,
so yeah,
cool.
That's it. Releases from me.
I haven't noticed anything being released recently. I do quite check on my Spotify on the release radar, but nothing Oh, Korn had a new single, but I've not actually listened to it. But yeah, nothing album-wise.
You know what? Should have put that on now. I listened to it. I didn't like it.
No?
I really liked the first one they released because they've put them on the same. I think they're going to do that thing where they release loads of songs from the album one after the other, like each month or whatever, until the album comes out, and then put them out, kind of like what Sleep Token did. But yeah, I really liked that first one, but I wasn't so keen on the new one they released. I listened to it in the gym. I was like, maybe a few more listens and I might get into it. But yeah, I should have put that on the list as well. I did listen to that. Completely forgot about it.
Yeah, awesome. But yeah, like, I haven't come across anything that I've been interested in that's been released recently, so I just thought it was a bit of a slow time for music, but maybe I'm just not into very much at all. Nothing's I don't know what to say.
You are. You're the new guy now. You're not the
new guy.
You're not a one album guy anymore, and you're not a stick in the mud. You're all about it now. So it's going to come along soon. You're going to be like, boom, listen to this, bitch.
Yeah. Do you know, there was a couple of bands actually I put on Like, I went on to, it was Saliva Radio on Spotify, where it plays bands that are similar. And there's a couple of bands
Oh,
I
yeah,
got
that's
into,
cool. That's cool.
I can't remember what they're called now. Egypt Central. Egypt Central is one of them. You heard of them?
No, never heard of them.
No, I can't really describe what they were because they were quite early on in my walk.
Yeah.
Cool. So, shall we check out your new... No, we've done this, but haven't we? We're on the news already. Shall we bring Ronnie in? Fuck me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Ronnie.
Bring in the Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Symphony Download!
Thank you, Ronnie, for that wonderful... It's not an intro, is it? Fuck me. That wonderful segue. That's the right one. Awesome.
There we go.
The music industry and record labels. Like I said earlier, you know far more than me about this. So I've watched a few videos on YouTube. So, I mean, I'll just link the videos and we don't have to talk about it. We'll skip to the end.
Skip to the end. See you later.
No, I found there's a couple of people that I found that were really good. And I did learn a lot. One thing I learned actually was have you heard of 360 contracts?
Nope.
No, excellent. Something straight out the bat. Okay, so that record labels and contracts. So there was a point back when. Oh yeah, this is what I was going to say this as well earlier. When you said about us being old, I was going to say then, it's a new drinking game because we're probably going to say back in the day or something of that ilk quite a lot in this part because we'll be talking about.
Okay, I get you. Yeah.
When we were young and what the music industry was like and what we knew about it. So yeah.
Yeah.
If we say something like that, you should drink. But yeah, growing up, basically you had to have a record deal, didn't you? You couldn't really do it on your own. And as far as I was aware, I mean, I thought this up until, well, not thought it, but I didn't know anything other than this up until recently as well. Basically, you get a band together, you gig as much as you can, and hope somebody from a record label just happens to catch you at a show and says, I like that band, we should sign them. But it's completely different now, like we've talked about with Adam Leader on episode 4. He said that it's basically a brand, isn't it? There's so many things you've got to do for yourself now, instead of just making an awesome band and gigging as much as you can.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, back in the day, you would have, well, as I perceived it, this isn't necessarily what it was, but in the early day when I started first being in bands and stuff, that was what we thought you do. You go, you play gigs, you think someone notices you, but then again, we had we had a book called The Unsigned Guide.
Okay.
This must have been in 2006.
Right.
And it had all of the publishing houses, all of the record labels, and all of their addresses and phone numbers in it. So bands would use that to make PR packs or call them or send them demos or CDs and stuff. So people, it wouldn't have been as easy to get in touch with them back then. Some people would have used email, but we didn't have that sort of stuff then. So, but like you said, yeah, that was the kind of thing you'd done. Just play loads of gigs, hope someone notices you, send a few things off to record labels, hope someone listens to it. It's actually insane how some bands got discovered. Because I know they would send, some people had probably still do have jobs of going to gigs to watch bands.
Yeah.
Thinking they were good, and then they take them back to the office and say, right, well, I've seen this band, they're great, and then someone else goes and listens to them, blah, blah, blah. So that sort of shit probably still happens, not on the level that it was, because now you could just go onto someone's Spotify and listen to them. You don't actually have to go and see them live. I'm not sure. I don't know how much a live performance puts you in situ for getting a record deal. What if they listen to you on Spotify and you sound amazing?
Yeah.
And they see you live and you're terrible, because some bands really aren't good live. They're great on, or they can make it sound fantastic, but maybe on stage they don't quite have the same oomph. So I don't even know how far that goes in affecting you, because
No.
does that matter? Do you have to be really good live to? I mean, I've seen some signed bands that don't sound like signed bands live. So is that a factor as well? Like, that's an interesting thing to sort of
That is, yeah.
ask someone, isn't it? Like, does it matter?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Who cares if you sound good on Spotify? Who gives a shit? Like,
Yeah. I remember back when I was in college, this was, probably coming up to 20 years ago now. Probably 16 years ago now. Because we were doing music, everybody wanted that job, to be that person who goes to gigs, just goes to gigs for a living and finds new bands. And I remember someone asked our lecturer, I'm not sure how well he knew the industry at the time, but he said there's probably only about 400 jobs of that in the country, of people doing that kind of thing in the country. So it basically told everybody, don't even think about it. Like I said, I don't know how reliable that was from him, and obviously that was a long time ago now as well. So as you said, it's probably going to be a lot less.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think one statistic that's always stuck with me, I don't really know why, but it was about Nickelback. And Nickelback toured on their own for 9 years, just touring around, I assume just America, maybe around the world. But yeah, on their own money, just toured until they got noticed. And that's going to be the similar story to many, many other bands.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I guess now it kind of is different, because before, I guess you would have had to do that to get people to notice you, unless you got your song on the radio or played on certain... I mean, America works differently, doesn't it? Because their states are split, and they have, radio stations that only do certain states or only do certain cities. And I know we have a little bit of that here, but we're so much smaller. Theirs is like almost mini countries by themselves. So it would have been crazy to actually go and even tour that. Like, it's even mental just going around doing all the little places around England. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, and that is weird, because, like you said, you could tour for 9 years. 9 years of doing all this off your own back, and then get discovered. Where now, someone from a label could just go onto your Spotify. They don't even have to. You don't have to do any of that. No, I'm sure bands have released something really good, played 2 gigs, got signed. Yeah. Guarantee that's happened.
Yeah.
Like, these old bands were going around for 9 years. Some next band comes along, they got a good MySpace page, they played 2 gigs and they get signed. Do you know what I mean?
I had a good MySpace
That was bound
page
to happen, though. Yeah, like bands like Bring Me the Horizon, they wouldn't have been shit without they were MySpace bands.
Yeah. It's
because people were hyping them up and playing their stuff and sharing them and doing all that through MySpace. A lot of those bands in that kind of era, it made those bands. Without them, I'm not sure they would actually be here today. So
no,
and that stuff was really weird. How much of a crazy impact it had when the internet and social media really got involved in bands, because it genuinely made people. Like now, if you get your song on TikTok and people start using it for millions of TikTok videos, forget about it. Your Spotify is going to go through the roof.
Yeah.
So it's weird. You never sort of had those things before where you could do it. Radio was probably the closest thing. If you got your track on a rock radio station, that's pretty good, because you get it out to as many people as possible. Yeah. But now if something trends, forget about it.
Yeah.
Done.
That's one thing I saw a lot of, actually. I know you said about it before, is nobody listens to albums anymore. It's all playlists. And so there's one guy, YouTube channel that I found. His name was Damien Keyes, or Keyes, Keyes, and he's playing the game, like you said, and lots of times he's playing the game, like the social media game that everyone has to play, and I feel like I understand it a bit more now, because he knows his stuff and he's doing it all. Some of his videos were so clickbaity, but they had to be, if that makes sense. Things like Tinder is ruining your music career, 3 words that will kill your music career, Joe Rogan just broke the music industry, all that kind of stuff.
Classic titles.
But they were engaging as well. I did come across some other people who just sort of stood there talking, and it was probably really interesting stuff, probably good stuff, but it wasn't a proper YouTube video. Like, it wasn't what you expect these days, so I just got bored after a couple of minutes. But yeah, so many of his videos was saying like how to get into the right playlist in like 4 minutes or something like that, or yeah, so much about playlists now. So there's so much that, you know, even though I've been looking up all this stuff, so much that I still don't know yet. So it's definitely going to be interesting.
Playlists, definitely. Like, it's like a metal. There's like these big metal playlists, and then you know it's big because like if Loathe bring out a new song or someone of that ilk, they'll retweet what Spotify done, because it will be like, then our new song's been added to the metal playlist on Spotify, and that's huge because that playlist has like 250,000 people listening to it.
Yeah.
So then you have a possibility of a quarter, or you know, not even a quarter, say 50,000 of those people know your band. You have 200,000 people that don't know your band that could possibly, even though there's like 600 songs on this playlist, there's a possibility that 30,000 of those could listen to your track and then get into your band, and then that's 30,000 extra people that are going to go to your Spotify and possibly listen to the rest of your stuff, or even listen to that song and over again. That happens a couple of million times. We spoke about that before in past episodes on our Spotify special. You know, you're going to get revenue from it. So you're right, like playlists, especially, I don't know about other types of music. I know a little bit about the D&B scene. I don't really know anything about the pop or that stuff and how it works, but definitely when it comes to bands in the metal scene, playlists are huge at the moment. If your band gets on a really good playlist, that could literally do you for quite some time, and you would be very happy to get those listeners. So yeah, dude, you're totally right with the playlists. Yeah, it's mad, absolutely mad.
We should try and get on some podcaster playlists. It'll be days long if you. But no, it was.
How long is this playlist? Playlist is 2 weeks long.
No, there was a guy on Facebook, on the Facebook download group, actually making a playlist of every single band that everybody involved could think of. He was going through every couple of days. He would put like, give me every single band or artist. It could be pop artists. Give me every single artist you know of in the comments, and I'll add their most popular song to this playlist. And once he got to the end, I don't know if Josh from Death by Kai is still listening, but I got Death by Kai in there. You're welcome. I think I was the only person who mentioned Raunchy.
Yes.
So yeah, I got Raunchy in there. You're welcome, Raunchy. I know you're definitely listening.
They 100% listen to this podcast. I can tell you that right away.
But yeah, that was probably days long. I can't remember how many now. It was going to be ridiculous.
Mental.
I think it was crashing some people's phones when they tried to load it up. But it was awesome.
That's cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a great idea. Like, you know, fuck it. Let's just do all these crazy playlists. That's awesome.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'll tell you, like, all the things I learned about what bands could do to help them get on to like the next step towards getting signed and everything. I said that the guy I found, Damien Keys, he was doing it all, and it was exhausting even learning about it, reading it, because I know it's the sort of thing that we could do for the podcast as well. I'll go over some of the things he said later, but I was like, that just sounds exhausting, thinking about doing all of that stuff, like posting 10 times a day. Well, no, he didn't say to post 10 times a day, but he said you can post 10 times a day as long as you're posting good stuff. You know, if you're just spamming for the sake of posting 10 times a day, then people will forget about you. But it's all really interesting stuff. And
it's kind of weird. It's almost like it's come full circle, because it was really hard to get signed before, and then the internet and how the music industry changed within that sort of sweet zone made it far easier. And now, because it's so oversaturated, it's sort of reverted back to being quite difficult again.
Right.
Well, that's certainly how I perceive it. So it's almost gone in a full circle because it was supposed to get easier. But now because everyone and their dog can release music, it's actually way harder to actually get in there. So it made things better for a while. But now, like you said, you have to put so much work, but just different things. You know, you don't have to tour for 9 years.
No.
But you've got to do, or you've got to sell yourself. Like Leader said, you've got to make the band into a brand.
Yeah.
You've got to do merch. You've got to do things. You've got to do with the certain people. You've got to play gigs with the certain people. You've got to play certain... It's crazy. It is just mad. Like, absolute... It's gone mental again.
Yeah. So shall we... I'm sure most people will know what a record label is and what they do. Well, maybe not everything they do, but what they are. But let's go from the very basics, just in case. And so a record label is basically a bank. Or that's what it always used to be. When back in the day, going on, from what we knew about record labels, it was basically a bank. They would take your band on and say, right, we'll give you, let's say, £250,000, and we will sell your music. But there was all sorts of things that could have been involved in that. They could have ended up having the rights to your music. So once your contracts run out, they can still sell your albums. You cannot sell your albums anymore. There was all sorts of things. But they would help with studios. They would have the network to all the best studios, even though they cost, well, some of the best ones cost thousands per day, which is
loads of money. My God. Again,
like I said, it's not even necessary anymore. You can do it at home. Well, some people can do it at home.
Yeah,
You can do some of the stuff at home and only pay for a couple of days in the studio. So doing certain bits that you're not sure about. But yeah, it was all the mixing and mastering. Like I said, they help with the distribution. They'll already have the contacts for getting your CD out. Well, even making the CDs, pressing it. Is it pressing? I'm not sure what it's called. But basically, getting that digital file onto hundreds of thousands of CDs and sent out to all the shops around the world.
Distribution and marketing are probably two of the biggest benefits of being on a proper label.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, they've got the money, they've got the distribution, and they know where to put it, and they've got money to pay to put it in the right places.
Yeah. So, just imagine trying to do that yourself.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Well, bands do it every day. Bands are literally doing it while we're speaking.
Yeah.
Like the bands are just literally doing it now, like coming up with loads of fucking ways to try and get as many people listening to their music.
But I mean, that, again, like you said, that's how things have changed. Well, back when I was in a band, the mentality was, let's get together and play some awesome music. Now, I suppose when you get a band together, younger people, it would just be natural for them, I guess. But for older people, they have to try and get into that mentality and sort of say everyone has to pull their weight, have to put the work in. One of us will try and get this shipped to all over the country, or, a couple of people dedicated to social media, and you have to do it for 2 hours every day or something like that. I don't know. I assume that's what I'm guessing it's like to be in a band these days, or to be in a band that wants to be successful.
Yeah, well, definitely you have to have people doing that, and everyone has to sort of chip in. And you probably normally have. Well, I remember in Second Self we had two of us on the Facebook and Instagram and stuff, sort of sharing it and posting and doing photos and all sorts of shit, and just trying to keep it updated weekly with different stuff. It might be like a gig shot, or we're playing this gig here, or just anything really to, like you said, keep the people engaged and just keep it ticking over. Because you unless you are a huge band, you can't just like go away for like a month.
Yeah,
because people literally forget you exist. That's just how it is being in a small band. So you need to constantly, and like you said, it can't be spam, because then people will just switch off.
Yeah.
So it has to be sort of new, engaging stuff, and like, that's a job in itself. People have
work. That
job for bands and for festivals, for Download. They got a media division, and all the people that work for Live Nation. They do all that. This is literally someone's job.
Yeah.
So when you're in a band, if one of you, two of you, three, whatever, it's literally something that you constantly have to do, especially in this day and age.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad I haven't got any interest in being in a band anymore. What else? We've gone over pretty much. We've gone over pretty much everything, or most of the things they'll do. There would have been other little things, but reiterating that they put that cost in at the beginning. They put the money in and say, "This is what we're going to do for you," but they obviously have to take that money back somehow. And most of the time, it was through CD sales, and I think we said before. I think I heard. If you're a fairly successful band, half decent band, you won't make any money from like the first couple of albums, at least 2, maybe 3, because they'll be taking all their money back. I think I heard they take it from the gross something. I wrote it down. Damn it! Let's try and find it. There was a reason why I didn't pass my uni course. My notes are all over the fucking place. Literally, I've got like 3 pages of notes, and they're not in any decent order. So I'm just scrolling. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I think the gross is what they take it from. And when you finally get to take money yourself as the artist, it's called the net something. So that's pretty much what they used to do. Now, these days, I'm going to fail straight away here because I've got written down, one of my headers is, there are 4 types of contracts that you can get now, or 4 of the sort of most common ones. I don't know what all 4 are. They weren't actually said in the videos that I watched. It just said there are 4 types of contracts. But I know a couple of them. One is the most common one people will come across now is the 360 contract, or, and I've got a fancy name for it written down here, and it's bold and underlined so I can find it easily. Ancillary rights.
Okay.
It's a 360 deal. Basically, because artists and record labels don't make anywhere near as much money from CD sales anymore, or streams, they've basically gone and said, I mean, they don't put as much money in because of that, because they don't need really to make as many CDs anymore. They don't need to pay for the as much for the recording of it. But they have basically sort of said, well, we want to put in this contract that we can take some money from your merch sales or your touring or something like that. Or, I mean, they can put anything in. Their record labels, they're sort of not traditionally, they're sort of, to me, maybe I'm not going to say this for everybody, but to me, they are known to be slimy and do whatever they can to get money from you, screw you over, basically. I've heard so many horror stories. So some of them I've heard they'll put in all sorts of things to try and get money from you. Like, even if you get another job, there's nothing to do with music, they'll say we can take it from that. And so you, one of the things that I kept hearing over and over again is you need a lawyer. You need a music lawyer to go over a contract with you before signing anything to do with a record company. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Like, I would 100 times have people go over that and make sure it's all good. Luckily, I have got a friend of mine that I met.
You've got a guy. I've got a guy for that.
That is. Yeah, he's there for me, man. I got him.
Awesome.
If I ever need that shit, it's going straight to his door.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, it's all fancy wording as well. Because it's like lawyers. Obviously, yeah. The record label will have their own lawyers, so they'll write it up in, like I said, all fancy wording, and you might not even know what any of it means. So yeah, another reason why you need to take it to a lawyer. But yeah, I think that's pretty much most of what the 360 deal is basically, and it is the most common one that you'll get these days.
Yeah, it sounds like it makes sense. Like, in this day and age, they're not going to put as much in because they're not necessarily going to get as much out.
Yeah.
And like you said, like, they'll say, okay, well, these guys are probably going to have quite good merch sales, so we're going to take from that. They're going to be playing a lot of gigs. They're going to take from that. Are they going to make a lot of money on Spotify? Possibly. Okay. We'll dabble a little bit in everything, or take everything from one or the other. So yeah, it makes sense. And like you said, it costs. less to record in places. Recording costs less. You can get better quality recording for less money now than you definitely would have been able to do even 15 years ago. So
Yeah.
it does that. I mean, it's probably not great when you're signing it. I mean, it would be such a difficult choice. There's so many ups and downs from being independent necessarily to then being on. But then if you do get big or you do something really well, is it better to be on a label because the support that you get, or do you not get any support? It's so difficult to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some bands have spoken very highly about the labels that we're on, and we've spoke about Roadrunner and people like that before. And then some people have just said an absolute nightmare the whole time. So I guess I think it probably matters who you go with. And you're going to have done the research, spoke to people who are on it, who were on it or whatever, and make sure that you get all the information before you sign on the dotted line, baby.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, because there can be all types of contract as well. So, probably this could have been added at the beginning, but so the contract could say we're going to sign you for 4 albums, or it could say we're going to sign you for 1 song because that's what we think we want from you.
Mm-hmm.
They're all going to be different, but what they'll have a lot these days are called options. I don't know if you've heard of them as well. So the example I heard was, say they do want to sign you for 1 song or 1 hit song. If you write a song and it doesn't go very well, that's not a hit song. But if you do write a song and it goes well, and they've got like an option in there saying, well, we can get a 2nd song out of you if we choose. It's basically them going, we can change it later and get more from you if we want to. So that's some things that you've got to keep a lookout for as well. But again, the lawyer would come across that.
Break it down for you. And if you didn't understand the legal... I've been through legal document. This is from a completely different thing, but from a facilities side, it was what I do for a job. And we had to do alterations to a building that had a listing on it. And I had to go through a whole legal thing with that. And it was an app. Like, I was even receiving emails from these lawyers, from these solicitors and people like that. And I was ringing my boss just saying, I can't even get through this email because the jargon is just strong. Like, we don't know. Yeah. We've got our own company solicitors and lawyers. Right. So you send them this and you say, you break this down for me into layman's terms. Yeah. Because I need to make the decision. And that's what they do. So it's exactly what would happen to get low from that. They'd look through it and they go, right, this is what you need to know. This is what you need to do. These are the options. Boom. And then you can do it. But yeah, if me and you were to sit here and read through one of these legal documents before you'd be like, what the yeah. Like, what the hell is this?
I have all sorts of stuff in them. You know, I struggled even with university with that kind of thing. I've always been, fairly knowledgeable. I don't know what words to say without sounding too big-headed, but without putting myself down as well. But, I've always done okay. Through college, I could get through college knowing, through my music course, on the knowledge that I already had. I could basically blag it because I already had that. But at university, it was different. I didn't have that knowledge, and I struggled to actually learn. And the textbooks I had, I couldn't get through the first page, and I was like, "Shit, I fucked up here." The same as you said then, like with the jargon, it's like I don't understand what this is even saying.
Yeah.
You
need your head to break it down for you, but you're just like, nope.
Yeah.
No.
Right. So it was my own downfall was that I didn't have to try very much beforehand.
And then all of a sudden, you're like, I've got to try really hard now.
Yeah. Yeah, but so also in these contracts, it will have how long the contract's for. It will also say who pays for what as well. So there's all sorts of stuff like the list we went through a minute ago. Who pays for the recording? Who pays for the distribution? And then it will also have who gets paid for all of that. Who gets paid for the work they do?
Yeah.
And how much the royalty split was. Do you know how much you would sort of typically expect from a CD sale? Was it? I've definitely got a percentage.
I have no idea.
No, it's it's like a number that's always been secret. You know, no, I mean, obviously, like I said, all these things are different anyway, but like, there's not a number that is obvious that that's well known how much you would roughly get from it, because CDs have never really changed much in price. You know, £10 to £15. So you would think you would have, like, with all the artists out there, you would be able to have, you get like an average amount that they get from. I mean, maybe there is. Maybe I've just not looked into it before.
Yeah, if you've put it on a label, if you've made your own, like I've been in bands before, we've made our own CDs. They're good quality CDs with covers and all that shit. And then you just sell them for whatever you try and do to make a profit for what you paid for them. So
yeah,
I guess it depends on, like you said with the net and gross thing. Once the label has got their money back, then you get. So it's probably only a small percentage, really. But even it's obviously changed because, dude, bands like Biscuit and Park and Papa Roach, they bought fucking houses off of the money that they got. Like, they were raking it in. But don't get me wrong, they were selling a shitload of CDs because they were all popular. But people were making a shitload of money before.
Yeah.
And we've done the whole Spotify working out that you can still make a lot of money being a big band these days.
Yeah.
Is it, is the difference in the comparison, negligible, where it's like, it's pretty much similar to what it would have been before. But like you said, what's the magic number that the CDs were, and has it gone anywhere? Or
well, now it is apparently. The other woman I found on YouTube, she's actually she's an artist, but she's also a lawyer herself. So she was saying like the number she would look for is 14 to 16% of the net.
Okay.
Or if for a huge artist, probably 16 to 20 or 18 to 20%. So 20% of, like, let's say an album sells for £15, 10% of that, £1.50, they're getting maybe £3 per CD sold.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest people. What's £3/4 of that?
Yeah, that would be like
£3/4 of £3, 35. Or £2.25. You say just over £2 per CD sold, which doesn't sound like a lot, does it?
It doesn't. But then even if that was the number 20 years ago, the amount of CDs some of these bands were selling was crazy. But then, like you said, then you've always got to split it 5 ways, or wherever the rest of that money goes. I don't know.
Do you know? I came across a statistic as well. It was for America. I couldn't actually find much of UK specific content, UK specific stuff. Let's just say stuff. But yeah, in the early 2000s, 2003, I think it might have been, in America, 731 million albums sold.
Ooh.
How many do you think? I think this is from 2021. So how many do you think that has gone down by last year?
So what was the date? Sorry.
So it was early 2000s. I can't remember the exact year, but say it was like around 2001, 2003 when music kicked off.
And that was how many?
731 million.
Fucking hell. 731 million. And then what was until 2021?
Yeah, last year. How much do you reckon that might have gone down by?
Down by, or can I just give you a number?
Oh, yeah, just give me a number. Sorry, yeah.
700, yeah? That was the...
731 million, yeah.
Oh, million. 73, sorry.
It's a hard question. I
say...
understand. It's actually a weird and hard question. It's hard to get your head round.
500,000?
They're down to 31 million. So they've
31? No, well, I was fucking way off.
Yeah. But yeah.
31 million. They've
lost 700 million. I was going to work out the percentage of how much that is down by, but I didn't. But yeah, 700 million in the space of like 20 years. Because everyone's streaming now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. People are still buying CDs and records. Like you said, records are back in a huge way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So are tapes.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Tapes are back. I don't understand. No one has tape players anymore. Not even like...
Oh, God, I saw today
cool.
I saw on Mushroomhead's Facebook today. They're like, get our first album, like the very first one from like 1993 on tape. Like loads of people were buying it. It's cool. It's a cool thing to have. Like the tapes, like see-through blue, and they make them look so awesome now. You know, you could just display it, and it looks really sick. So I understand for that value, but I don't know if people are actually listening to them, because I could tell you right now, people, right? If you're thinking of getting a tape deck and a player, tapes sounded like shit.
Yeah, just get a record player like everybody else at the moment.
Yeah, just get a record player or play it on CD or stream it, because tapes, there's a reason it's a dead technology.
Yeah.
Because it was shit. And you listen to a tape a few times and it would sound even worse than the first time you listened to it.
Yeah.
I'm just bitter because loads of my tapes got wrecked in, the tape deck and fucking all sorts of shit. Tapes it's a nice memory. It's not something I would buy ever again.
No, I think the only tapes I ever had was from Haven Holidays. Like, that was it. I didn't have music. No problem music. I think I must have got into it just at the point where CDs were a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what else I've got here. Because I mean, we going back to lawyers. There's something that you pretty much must avoid. But I mean, a lawyer would catch this. But they might put in there something that's called repayable advances. Which basically means...
That does not sound good straight away.
Basically, the debt doesn't get paid if they kick you off of the label. So, you could still end up having to pay it back even if you're not a band anymore.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Do you know what that just reminded me of when you said that? And if you listen to this and you were in a band, or I'm not sure how often they do this anymore, but they probably still do it actually, especially in London. But in London, a big thing when you're a band was they used to do gigs, and they were called pay to play.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to play like a bigger sort of venue, like the Underworld or someone like that, and you were an unsigned band, some companies would do this thing which was called pay to play. So it was you had to sell a certain amount of tickets before they would let you play the gig.
Yeah.
And that was such a shit thing to do, because you basically had to beg people to buy tickets from you, just so you could play the gigs. Yeah. Actually, in like 2011, I went round London with Adam Leader of Inceptor Sun, giving. I think he said this on the podcast. Yeah, begging people and he drove round London to give people tickets just so they could play a gig. Yeah, I can't even remember. I think it was at the Barfly or something. I can't remember.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like I when you said it, I thought it must have been. I think it was around 2010. I don't know how long it lasted for. I don't think it was a huge thing here, but I definitely heard about it at the time, and it was bullshit. Like
I avoided them like the plague. The bands I was in, I was like, pay to play. Fuck that. I'd rather play a free gig in some shit pub. Than work my ass off to play to the 30, 40 tickets that you sold to people that genuinely didn't want to come to the gig in the first place. What a fucking... Because you don't get anything out. This is the thing. Then you think you're selling and loads of people coming, but you're not getting anything from it. You're not gaining any new fans. You're not doing anything there. I mean, the people that you sold the tickets to might come, and maybe the other band, but I don't know. It didn't have the same sort of feel as you could play another gig and there would be loads of people there that haven't seen you before. When you've gone around begging your friends. Yeah. And then you just look like an arsehole. Yeah. Yeah, I always hated that pay-to-play thing. It's horrible. It sucks. I haven't spoke about I haven't even thought about it in ages. As soon as you were talking about the thing where like you have to pay back the label, I was just like, it just jarred this memory in my head of, holy fuck, pay-to-play gigs. I remember those. They're probably still they definitely still happening. Yeah. 100%. I bet you any money they're still happening.
Yeah. But if someone offers you pay to play, don't do it.
There's plenty of free gigs you can play all over the country. Don't do a pay to play. Yeah. It's not worth it. No. It's not worth it.
Label takes from the top. It's called gross receipts. And whatever is left over is called net receipts. There we go. I found it in the end.
There you go. Receipts.
Oh, another type, I don't know if it's a type of contract. It might be a type of contract on its own, but apparently record labels are trying to get into your publishing deal as well at the moment. So usually the record label don't deal with the publishing, which is, I'm pretty sure that's just like the marketing, isn't it? And distribution, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, thought it was. I had to confirm though. But yeah, but they don't usually deal with that. But because they're not making much money other places, they could say, well, we'll sort the publishing out for you, which is not always a good idea because maybe they don't know what they're doing. They haven't been doing it for like years and years and years, like another company that you probably would normally go to has. And that money that you would pay the publishing company wouldn't go to the record label at all. So they sort of want in on that money. Like,
I get you, because they're missing out on that revenue.
Yeah,
they want as much as possible.
Give us some of that money, please. But yeah, like, yeah, I think I've gone through all of my notes that I've got. Yeah, that's all. That's pretty much all the notes I've got written down for this. I mean, there's so much more that I could go into, but I mean, these people they've been doing it for years. They knew exactly what they're talking about. It's taken me. But I said earlier I was going to go into some of the things that Damien Keyes said that you can do for yourself to help promote yourself a little bit in the first place. It's all about leverage. And if you've done a lot of the work yourself on, like, say, your social media, and you've built a fan base in the first place, you can go to the record label and say, look, this is what we can bring in. Kind of like the pay to play, really, but doing the work yourself and not paying money.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do the work.
I get what you mean with leverage, though, because, yeah, you can sort of sweeten the deal and say, look, we got, I don't know, like, say if we got 10,000 followers on Facebook, and if we go onto your label, that's 10,000 more ears that you've got on your product. Yeah. Because we're going to be playing with bands that are on the same label, touring with them and doing all this shit. So it brings your other acts up. Yeah. So that makes perfect sense in my head. Yeah. To use that to your advantage to get the best deal. Yeah. And it shows that you're willing to do the work yourself, and not just relying on the label to do everything for you. Do everything. Yeah, yeah. Because then they'll just go like, oh yeah, we're going to pay the lowest amount that we want to give you then, and you haven't got a leg to stand on. No. Another thing, what else did he say? I think it was just that, like just help yourself as much as you can. Things like I said earlier with getting your social media and like you said actually, which is perfect. Don't disappear. You need to be constantly going. I suppose you probably I assume you've watched videos or on all this kind of stuff before, or you've learned it growing up from your friends? Yeah, like specific times when you're supposed to post that you get more clicks, who you're supposed to do it to, when you're supposed to do boosted posts or sponsored ads. There's just so much stuff. Like, I was so, like you said, like I was watching it, and by the end you're like, fucking hell. Yeah. I have to do all this. But the thing is, like we mention them and him a lot on there, but I'm telling you right now, right, Adam Leader from In Search of Sun, for years I watched this guy just work his absolute bollocks off. Yeah. Hoard himself out, done whatever it could, begged, done everything he could possibly do, dragged everyone kicking and screaming, and that is what you had to do for yourself. Yeah. With no support. So it's just like you said, and that's how they got onto it. I know they're not with the label anymore, but that's how they got on there. That's how they got thing. That's how they got to play Download Festival, because they done the legwork. Yeah, and on top of that, they had really fucking good music as well. So it, like, you know what I mean. But you really have to work at it. It is a full time. It's like having another job, being in a band. Yeah, you have to make it like your second job. And I know that sucks, and I know everyone's going to be like, oh, you have to do all this social media bollocks. It's not the same as before when you can get signed and you don't have to do fuck all. I know, but those times are gone. Yeah. It's just not the way it works anymore. If you want to get big and you want to do things, you got to play the game. Yeah. It's just the way it is. And it's a ridiculous game, and we obviously haven't given you anywhere near as enough information that you would need on here. So yeah, I definitely worth checking out other videos. There's so much out there now giving you tips to do this kind of thing. And I was going to say, when you're talking about just before you said about Adam Leader, then I thought
you go into it thinking, oh, there's so much work, this is so daunting, I can't be bothered, I don't want to do it. But somebody else will.
Oh yeah,
so,
definitely.
You know, if I'll go talk about World of Warcraft in a minute, but oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, they're setting the bar, so you got to do better than that bar. You know, if you don't put the work in, somebody else will, and they'll get that opportunity over you. I don't fucking no. Let's not talk about World of Warcraft.
Okay, why not?
Well, it's about adult nappies. Let's fuck it. When they were bringing out World of Warcraft Classic, I was listening to a lot of podcasts about it, and it was all about the race to be the world's first to level 60, I think it was, and after a little while, there was a guy pops up and was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be wearing adult nappies, so I haven't got to take breaks to go to the toilet." And there's things like, but like once he's doing it, other people think, "Well, I have to do that now. I didn't want to, but he's got an advantage over me." So I'm not sure if anybody else did. Not that I heard do interviews or anything, but there probably was other people that went, "Shit, I'm going to have to do what he's doing."
Yeah, oh, definitely. Without a doubt. And like you said, if you don't do it, there's always someone else that's going to take your place and do it.
Yeah. So
that's why you have to do it. It's a hustle, man. You got to hustle this shit out of yourself.
Yeah.
And play the game. But yeah, just the way it is. I'm glad though, like you said, all these people doing all these YouTube videos and that, it's helpful because if you really want to do it, I don't know all the information is there, but you can read stuff and you could get everything together that you really need to get. It's sad, you know, so for some bands, the music almost speaks for itself and bands don't have to do too much. But other people, if you don't know the right people, you're not in the right location or whatever, you are going to have to work your ass off. But if you really want it, in the end, it will be worth it. Once the right person notices you or listens to you or you get on the right playlist, like we were talking about before, and stuff starts to pick up, then, you know, these labels will obviously help you and assist you with that.
Yeah.
Even, you know, like these independent labels where they have these different style contracts of bands where they don't want to take all your money and all that sort of shit. It's just always good to have that little bit of support. I don't know. Technically, I have been in a signed band before, but it was to a brand new label. So
okay,
we didn't really know what the crack was. And by the time we done our first EP, like a couple of months after that, our contract had run out anyway. And then COVID hit. So it was just like, never got to really experience what it was like to actually properly be on a label.
Yeah.
So
was that Second Self again then?
That was Second Self, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, how is your band going at the moment? Anyway, we haven't spoken about your band that you've given me little snippets of.
Yeah. Well, I can't let any secrets or anything out, but we've got a song. We got the song we know want to record from the demos. We've got a producer lined up and a couple of other things going, and hopefully we'll record that in December/March.
Cool.
For just a pre-summer release. So yeah, we're going to do as much as we can. So there'll be photos, obviously, probably maybe a music video, even like a lyric video with one single basically.
Yeah.
So we're going to sort of use that to test the waters, and then we're going to have to play the game.
Yeah.
And do a load of shit on social media. So I've got all that to come because normally I'm one of the guys that likes to be in charge of the social media, so it'll probably be me and probably one of the guys in the band.
Yeah.
That'll do like we do. We split it between us.
Yeah.
So I'll probably end up doing that with whoever wants to take the reins with me as well. So we're speaking out all this shit, and I've got all this shit to come later this year. So I got to do everything that we're talking about. So I believe me, this conversation is all too real for me because it's all coming up. And I'm just going to come on here and complain about it.
That's fine.
No, I won't.
Having 9 members like Slipknot has never seemed like a better idea.
That's 9 social medias, man. Tweet that shit out. Do you know what I mean? Get those fucking likes, retweets and shit. It's true, though. Slipknot would have blown up even if they came out now.
Yeah.
Fuck me. If they added just their friends list, they would have had like 10,000 followers already. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I have been trying to think of like what I would do if I was in a band, like what I would do differently. And I'm so out of touch with the music industry, the music. I don't like the word scene, but that's what it is, the music scene around here or anywhere. But like, I've always enjoyed thinking out of the box. That's something I've always like to do. So I've come up with a couple of things that I'd like, that I think I would try to see if it worked.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Well, I thought nobody, well, not nobody that I've seen. I also want to say interact with the audience. If people do interact with the audience, but what I would suggest to the rest of the band was just like play one less song from the set that you normally would, and just sort of sit down, chat with the audience, say like, well, this is we're from here, and actually take a few minutes to do it and say, oh, you got to do it the right way. You got to, and I assume the singer would be charismatic enough to be able to do it the right way.
To actually
just say,
do it, to tempt it. Yeah.
Just say like, we're going to spend a couple of minutes just introducing ourselves. If you want to go to the bar, get a drink, do it now before we start playing music, and you can say, this is Tim, our bassist. He's a shrubber. He arranges, designs, and sells shrubberies, etc. And all the all the other shrubbers in the audience know that, and they go, oh, they might be a little bit more interested in the band then, because he got another shrubber or something along those lines. You know, just to have a little connection with the audience before, because like everybody I've always known, as soon as they get on the stage, they try and cram in as many songs as they want. So they just go like, oh, we need to play something heavy and hard first to get them into it, and that gets the people moshing into it. But the people moshing don't listen to the music, as far as I'm aware. I've never been able to concentrate on the music while, like, if it's a new band while I'm moshing.
Yeah, if you know the song, then yeah. But if it's a new band, definitely not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. As a singer, as long as people are going mental, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, if I look out and people are going crazy, that you're doing your job.
Yeah.
But I do like that as well. It's a good idea.
Yeah. Just like I said, just to give people an idea of who you are, and you know, they might connect with you a little bit more, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Or another thing I haven't really seen or heard of people doing is just arriving early at the venue. You would have to be the biggest bands would be able to do this, and the smallest bands that nobody knows would be able to do it. But like the middle bands that are trying to become up and coming, who people, you know, they might have a few people in each gig that already know who they are. Say we're going to get to the venue early, and you know, just come and have a chat with us. You know, maybe people do that already.
Yeah, a lot of bands do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Still, well, you know, not all of them, but you do see them wandering around and talking to people.
Yeah.
Doing all, it's quite lucky when bands do that, because it's fantastic. You actually get to interact with the people that you're going to the gig to see, which is fucking. Which I was saying before, like I think everyone listening to the podcast knows I'm a massive Head PE fan, but Jared, the singer from Head PE, he fucking always goes after the gig and before the gig. You see him sometimes before the gig, but mostly after the gig. He just fucking goes around and speaks to everyone.
Yeah. Like
he stands at the merch tent and like signs shit for people, and like he just walks around and just it's such an awesome feeling when you're sort of treated that way by people in bands when they're walking around. I know, you know, if you're in bigger bands, there's loads more people, so I understand why you wouldn't do it. But if you're playing like a smallish show, like you said, you're one of the sort of the medium-sized bands where you can do that without being completely mobbed.
Yeah.
That's fucking wicked, man. Like, it's so good. But also, from experience, it would be better to do it before than after, because after a gig, I don't know what it's like being, you know, I've played guitar and bass live, but it's been ages, so I can't remember. But when you're a singer, I'm so fucking knackered after a gig. And when people come up to you, and like, sometimes it must seem like you're not being, I'm legitimately not sort of responding to what they're saying, but I'm so knackered, you're trying to get all your shit off stage, and you've got people coming up to you saying that was amazing, and you are literally admitting like, thank you so much, but you're just fucked.
Yeah.
So you can't have you literally need to go sit down and have a conversation, like sit down and have a beer and just not speak to anyone for like an hour. But obviously if you're in a bigger band and you want to do that, you can't do that, because you're going to have people like mobbing you when you're walking around. So I can understand why bands don't do it, and why it would be much easier to do it before a gig when you've still got all the energy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I was thinking was like in the afternoon when it's still nice and light and the pub's empty, you know, so you have a nice intimate chat with the people who really want to see you. But
that's cool. I like that idea.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm out of touch with it. People might already do it. It might be a stupid idea. I don't know. But I did have a few questions when I was watching these videos as well. So I was going completely back. But I do still want to get somebody on from from the industry in general, or knows someone who knows a lot about contracts and record labels.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I came up with some questions, like how I think you probably know already the big thing about Hayley Williams and Paramore. I don't think anybody knows if it's just her that is it Atlantic Records, I want to say, signed?
Atlantic, yeah.
But yeah, the rest of the band weren't signed. It was just Hayley Williams. And I thought, like, how could you get out of the contract? Could you just go and do solo stuff? Would that still be considered the contract? Could your drummer go and do solo, like playing guitar? Would that be considered?
Like you said, that shit would all be between the lawyers.
Yeah.
It would all be written into the jargon to say, you can go and do this, or you can go and do that, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. Or if you put something out and it's under your name, then we essentially own it.
Yeah.
If you've done it. Yeah, there must be lots of examples of that, definitely, throughout the years. But yeah, we've said loads of times whenever we talk about anything music industry related, eventually we will, as the podcast grows and we get more listeners and we can get out to more people, we really want someone who's either in the inside or been on the inside, so we can actually see and discuss with them and put because I've got loads of questions.
Yeah.
If we're going to have someone on from the music industry, I'll spend like a week and I've got some fucking deep cuts and things that I really want to know the answer to. And I'm sure you're the same. Between us, we come up with loads of good questions, and that's definitely, hopefully, fingers crossed, something that we get to do in the future. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I've definitely got one guy lined up to come on. I put a post out in the bands and promotions page, and he's basically said he's been through it. He's taken bands from. I get it was musician jargon that I don't understand anymore. It wasn't even lawyer jargon, but it was musician jargon, and he said I've taken bands from grassroots to arenas or something. I know what arenas are, but like I got the gist of it. But yeah, it was stuff that I'd not really heard of before. But yeah, he said he's been through it. He's doing it again with another band at the moment, going through this whole process, going through record labels, I assume. So I need to get back to him actually at the moment. So might even try and get him on for next episode, because it will sort of work back to back with this one. But yeah, I had a couple other people get hold of me about coming on. So yeah, if you're listening and we've chatted about you coming on, I've not forgotten about you. Work's kicking my ass at the moment, so I will get back to you. There's plenty of time anyway.
Yeah, we're all good,
and we will definitely get through all of that. Hopefully, well, not yeah, man. Hopefully. We will get through all of that. Minus hopefully.
Keep it coming. It's so good just to talk about any music related stuff that we're interested in. Just like you say in the intro, this podcast is about everything and anything linked to music. Like I said, we're going to do a movies episode.
Yeah.
Well, it's linked to music, because I'm sure we will mention music, and movies have a lot to do with music and everything like that. So it's great because we have so many subjects we can go in and out of, and we didn't want to be a rigid podcast that just sticks to download or festival related things. Obviously, that's like the bread and butter of the podcast, but we love delving into other stuff like this because it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, as we're talking about guests, shall I go into? I've got a shout out that I wanted to just say. If you finish with Ronnie's section,
yes, we are indeed. Yeah,
yeah. So I just wanted to just give a shout out to Kev Pottage. He's he wrote into me on our Instagram and said that he's been to RIP. He hasn't actually heard us talk about the RIP side of Download before, which is a great idea. So yeah, I'll get back to him at some point when we're doing the show about that. And there was another guy in the Facebook page in the post you put up on Facebook about 2005, I think it was, that you read out last episode.
I read a couple.
Yeah, of them, he was given the VIP wristbands by somebody who.
Yes.
Yeah. So I contacted him actually and said that, would you be interested in coming on the show and talking about RIP? So I think I might try and get both of them on at the same time, because it'll be good to compare actually. Because I can't remember the guy's name on Facebook, but he went to the really early RIP ones, and Kev he went to the later ones. So
yeah, because I got on that post, I got loads of responses. So we should do like an RIP special, because I've got so much stuff that people sent us just on the post to read out people's different experiences and stuff from RIP. So we are definitely going to do an RIP special because, we've had such good interaction recently. I mean, we have to read out as much of people's stuff as we possibly can because it's really good to have it.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot you put that post out about the RIP as well because, the guy...
Yeah, I got tons of responses. So I've got loads of good stuff to read out when we do an RIP special because loads of people put down different years when they went. Some people had different experiences.
Yeah.
It's just nice to get a sort of, I've been to download a shitload of times and I've never done RIP. No. So it was kind of cool to get people's thoughts on it.
Yeah, definitely. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Kev. I think he got a bit worried because I said I'd contact him when we do the RIP show. Episode. And then you put on Facebook that... the next episode will be the RIP one, and I never contacted him. So I think he was...
Yeah, I thought it would be, but it turned out not to be.
We got our wires crossed a little bit, but it will be maybe, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 episodes time. It won't be too long. We might even do contact you guys to do the interview early, just so I've got it early, and we'll put it out when we can. But I just want to give a shout out to Kev. Sorry for worrying you that I didn't contact you. But yeah, we can go into after that. We can do the campsite fuckery if you wish.
I do. I've still got people's stuff from 2005 to read out in campsite fuckery. So yeah,
good. Did you save it? Because I think your post has been removed now, unless you removed
I saved some stuff. Yeah,
good,
I haven't removed it. No, I clicked on it the other day. It's not removed.
Oh, I thought I saved it, and then it's not saved anymore. Let's do the proper intro for Campsite Fuckery, shall we? Anyway, yeah. Campsite Fuckery is a section of the show where we talk about any funny, strange or interesting things you've seen at Download Festival. If you want to share any memories with us, you can do. I'll go over all the ways that you can do that at the end of the show. I've got one that I want to talk about after, but did you want to go through yours that you have from 2005 still?
Yeah, so basically, if you didn't listen to the last episode, please go and listen to it. It was our Download 2005 special, and we had loads and loads of answers from people to something I put out on Facebook to see what people thought of Download 2005. So I just wanted to read a few more of those out on the show this week, because in the last Campsite Fuckery we didn't get to read them all because luckily we had so many awesome responses. So I'll just read a couple of these out before we get to ads. So this one's from Daniel Bailey. So this is speaking about 2005. So this was my first Download Festival. I remember being sat up on the old hill beneath the Dunlop tyre watching Feeder on the Friday night. I was extremely excited for Trivium, who I believe at the time had been bumped up from the Napster stage, and at the time was opening on the main stage, and I think it was circa 50,000 people. They were up there for Trivium on the Saturday morning. An incredible set. I also remember seeing the Dwarves set cut short, if memory serves. Matt Zane from Sighted One was literally swinging around on meat hooks. Everyone always mentions that. It was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which was an interesting watch. And he just said the whole thing was magical to me. So thanks, Daniel Bailey, for that. Yeah, it was. It was what an awesome, amazing year this was. Robert Gorin Jones. Robert Gorin Jones was he said, was at the front for Sabbath, him and Velvet Revolver. Even caught me on the video which appeared in the Aussie show. It was a great weekend, which was awesome. So thanks, Robert, for that one. That is wicked, isn't it? It's great. I'm not sure I've ever been on any footage of Download. The amount of times I've been there, you would have thought that I would have been caught on something. But no, actually, me and my friend Carter had the back of our battle jackets photographed, and we were on the Metal Hammer website.
Oh, nice.
It's the only time I've ever been on anything Download related.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it. And another one from Fraser Drew. He said, meeting Nightwish after they were late on stage. Played 4 songs, but it was incredible. The pit for Trivium's Paul Harder was immense. Mudvayne Papa Roach created an unbelievable atmosphere. and being squashed at the barrier, and basically saying it was completely worth it because he had such a good time.
Yeah.
So thanks for that, Fraser Drew. And I'll just read one more. So the last one is from Chloe Hime Sakura Wait. These names on Facebook, man, honestly. So apologies if that was crap. She's written, my favourite ever download. I missed the Aftershock tent. People kept mentioning that last time. Don't remember it.
I don't remember it.
I missed the Aftershock tent so much with the sheep racing, giant headbang fights, hot tub. The people walk round the crowd with shots and giving out water pistols. Had a huge water fight on the Friday as you could use the sinks for the exhibition centre. See, and then she's written the thing where the video games were. And we were talking about that last week, weren't we, about where they were. So it was the exhibition centre where the video games were. And then she mentions what you said before. She said the Beyonce's arse bouncy castle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so I needed to correct that because I said Beyonce's Tracts of Land, referencing Monty Python's Holy Grail, which is referencing breasts. But I mean, I'm not a huge Beyonce fan, but I do know she is known for her bum.
That big.
So I should have put two and two together really and worked that out. But
still, though, it's awesome. Yeah, and then she wrote Beyonce's Bay, and she goes, she misses the Snickers Bowl, and she loved chilling there in between bands, obviously just watching all the BMX stuff that was going on. And then she sent in an awesome picture of her and a guy just holding their drinks up at Download 2005. So yeah, pretty cool. Again, I've still got more to read out on the next campsite fuckery, so we're going to spend quite a few time going through everyone's Download 2005 experiences. But again, thank you very much if you're listening for sending those in, and to anyone else, if you've got anything as usual for campsite fuckery, anything you want to get over to us that we could read out about your experiences of Download camping or in the arena or whatever, we will try and read them out. Ad, what you got for us, bud?
I went through this post after we recorded, so I obviously couldn't say it in the last one. But as soon as I read this one, it brought back memories of Download 2005. It's from a Michael Pugh. It's only the first bit, but I'll read the whole thing out anyway. He says, second download, I was 15. Some guys offered me some on a spliff Friday night. Obviously I obliged. Turns out it was laced in acid. And I had a real experience, to say the least. Joey Jordison bought me a beer and a burger just because I recognised him. He was my fucking idol, R.I.P. Some meathead off his nut on what I assume was ecstasy, and in brackets, much love my guy, barged me onto the crash barrier for Slipknot over the course of about 3 songs. I even made it into the Duality video. That's awesome.
Nice.
The guy swinging from meat hooks early on Sunday morning was weirdly fascinating. I couldn't stop watching. I wasn't that bothered about that. I was like, I was definitely there for it, and I was like, I don't really understand.
No, at the time I remember going, this is weird, but they had a couple of songs that I liked, so I was into it.
Ozzy was either off his twat, or the Osbournes is full-on dramatised. He was running and jumping around like a 20-year-old. The Snickers skate bowl, fucking sick. I remember getting loads of Snickers now, or being offered loads of Snickers. I didn't really last week, but I don't like Snickers. So
not the one for you.
Yeah, but the last thing is he says, not gonna lie, most of my memories are dwindling away now. Me too. My lifestyle took its toll on me, but some on these are too good to forget. You've actually remembered quite a lot there. You probably remembered more than I did overall. So yeah, it's an awesome comment. Thank you, Michael Pugh, for sending that one in. But it was the first paragraph that got me, because he said when he was offered a spliff that was laced with acid. And I remember Jacob, who we had on for the live show, he had something very similar happen to him, and it was definitely I know it was definitely before 2006. So I mean, there's a chance that it was 2005, and there's a chance that it was the same guy.
You never know.
So like, but I completely forgot about it, and Jacob even forgot about it as well. And I brought it up to him, and he said, "Oh, I vaguely remember it," but what I remember is he just went missing, and after all the bands finished, we all went back to the tents. He came back hour, 2 hours later, something like that. And he said, like, oh, some guy offered me a spliff. Don't know what the fuck was in it. And I, fucked me up. And I woke up behind the stage, like, hours later.
What the fuck?
Well, because it was the old layout, you had to go round.
Oh, yeah, of course,
the main stage to get to the second stage. So he was just, he just fell asleep behind the main stage down there.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, I couldn't believe how that brought back that memory. It was awesome. Thank you.
That is awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that is all for Campsite Fuckery. I think the only thing left is to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to say thank you all for listening. We love doing this. We have so much fun, and we hope that it's just as fun for you guys to listen to as well. If it is, and you want to help us out, and help us reach more fellow downloaders, then by far the best thing that you can do is tell your friends about us, bring us up in conversation, talk about the show on social media, etc. Like I said, that really is the best thing you can do. But another thing is, for the longest time, one of the only ways you could rate or review podcasts was through Apple Podcasts, which is great. If you use Apple, then a review or rating would be absolutely amazing. But now you can also rate us on Spotify, which is by far our most popular platform. So if you're using Spotify, it would really, really help us out if you could go and just give us a rating after you finish listening to this. And then that'll help push us out to other people that may have never heard of us that might enjoy what we do. And as I said earlier, if you want to reach out to us about anything you've heard on the episode, whether it's stories for Campsite Fuckery, anything we've missed out from a particular topic, if you want to give us a bit more advice about the record labels or contracts that you might know about, we'd love to have more people on the show that can come and talk. What's the right word? Sense. Talk interesting things that we don't know about.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Talk interesting things that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything we've missed from, or any corrections or feedback or suggestions for new topics, like Kev did with RIP. We came up with so many different things at the beginning of the show. Episode 1, we came up with loads. We said loads, didn't we? I don't think RIP came up at all.
No, it didn't.
Yeah. Who knows? You might get us to do an episode just for you.
Yeah, exactly. Any ideas? If we go, that'll make a good episode, we'll literally just make an episode about it.
Yeah.
It will just go onto the list of things we want to make episodes about. So yeah, if there is a subject you're interested in related to the music industry or download or festivals or anything, then yeah, hit us up and we might be able to do an episode about it.
Absolutely. The places you can get hold of us are on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're on those as Dear Download Podcast. You can email us at deardownload2003@gmail.com. That's 2003. And as I said, that's everything from us this week. We will see you in 2 weeks, where we'll be talking about, hopefully, the guy I said about earlier who is helping bands go through the game that we so much hate. But yeah, so we should be talking more about the music industry in general. Simon, anything you want to add before we go?
No, just thank you very much for listening. And keep listening. And if this is the first one you're listening to, there's loads more episodes that we've done before that you can listen to. So you can go right back to the beginning and listen to the glory that is the past 15 episodes. Yeah.
Simon, where can people find you?
People can find me as Fonzie_Simon on Instagram. And like I said last week, I'm just getting my stuff together for YouTube. And I'm going to be doing loads of stuff leading up to festival season about upcoming festivals. So yeah, Simon Bond on YouTube.
Awesome.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And awesome. So that's goodbye from Simon then.
Goodbye.
And goodbye from me. Goodbye.